Welcome back to another episode of the Be That Christian podcast. I am your host, Alex Gibson, and with me is the garage door enthusiast, Brian Rush.
Hey, buddy. I like that.
You like that intro? I was going to ask if you liked it, but you said you liked it, so I don't even need to ask you.
Garage door enthusiast.
So you probably noticed that if you're watching the video, that we got a bunch of new upgrades for the channel, and it's pretty exciting. A lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff hopefully make us sound better,
Yeah.
make us more handsome.
For sure. I need that.
I need every. I think I went from like a 4 to a 5 with all this stuff.
Solid 5.
A solid 5, not no 4.8 rounded up. I'm 5.
Yeah, moving up.
But this is going to be a fun episode. The topic for this episode, which is episode 6.
Oh, wow.
Episode 6.
That's awesome.
It's going to be, why are there so many denominations in Christianity? And a lot to unpackage there.
Yeah, for sure.
But before we get started doing that, Brian, how's your week been?
Good, buddy. Supercross is back on the air.
I just knew. I knew that you were going to say something about Supercross.
Yeah, buddy. Anaheim won. I love it. It's my favorite sport.
If everybody can stay healthy.
Yeah.
A lot of injuries.
Jet's already out.
Yeah.
Barsha got hurt real bad in that first race. Like, that was a scary wreck.
It's a dangerous sport.
It is. There's no cage.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with Supercross, we're talking about dirt bikes, essentially, dirt bike racing.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
You can just, that's probably the best way to put it that most people will understand.
Yeah.
And that was actually kind of going to lead me into my first question that I was going to ask for you, because I knew you were excited about motocross coming up. And I was going to ask, who is your favorite all-time motocross racer? Not just Supercross, but just motocross.
Ooh, putting them both together. I got to go Ryan Villapoto.
Ryan Villapoto.
That's my all-time favorite, because he was just, man, he was so good. And he didn't stick around long enough. Like, he could have done more. Like, he won 4 straight championships. Could have come back. He was literally, that's already calling it the drive for 5, but then he just up and quits. Like,
That's a respectable answer.
Yeah.
Villapoto. Mine, if you've ever heard me talk about motocross, which I'm not as invested as Brian is, but probably for this reason, is that mine is, he's been retired for a while, but mine is James Bubba Stewart.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I have a lot of strong opinions about James Stewart, but he is, and you talked about Malcolm earlier, his brother still races, his younger brother still races, but he's nothing like James was.
No, James
was sport defining.
He did. He invented new moves for the whole series, like the Bubba Scrub. He was a different speed. He was a new speed. Nobody was used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Carmichael had a hard time racing him. Carmichael was like the man back then, and then here comes Stewart, who was giving him the business, taking those wins from him, and dude, he was good.
And that's part of my argument for my next question, which I'll just go ahead and ask. My next question was going to be, who do you think is the greatest motocross racer of all time? And I know that as far as wins goes, that Carmichael is, I think he's the most in wins, isn't he?
He's got, it's either him or McGrath.
It might be McGrath.
Jeremy McGrath forever was called the king.
I'm excited for us to go to Indianapolis to go watch the Indy race.
Oh, yeah.
Because my favorite right now is still Ken Roczen.
Oh, yeah.
Kickstart Kenny.
Love Kenny.
Which I know he's getting up there too. Whenever he retires, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know. I want to root for Shimoda, but he's I really want him to be good, but I think he's got a ways to go.
He's getting there. He won the SMX series. Shimoda did,
Mhm.
and that was huge.
Yeah.
Because Deegan was in the 250s, but Deegan, he messed up too much. Deegan's his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would mature, that dude could be very impressive, but he just makes bonehead moves sometimes, and he allowed Joe Shimoda to win that SMX series, which was great because I like Shimoda too. I want to see him do good. He's a good guy, and fast. He can be fast too.
Yeah. But so the next question that I have, and it has nothing to do with motocross. I just wanted to bring up motocross because I knew it started. I knew you'd be excited about it.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. But the next question, I was trying to lean towards a superhero theme for this episode. And the first question, really basic, but controversial. Are you a Marvel or a DC guy?
Ooh, that's tough.
It's real tough.
Because movie-wise, I mean, I don't know. I really loved what Christopher Nolan did with the Batman, Christian Bale's Batman. But as a kid, I have to go back to when I was a kid on this. It's Marvel. That was my collection of comic books that I had was Marvel. I would have to go with Marvel, I guess. That's a tough question.
So I'm gonna say Marvel too, but it's because I think that when it comes to the comics, just like 'cause that's what they're based off of is the comics.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are, is comic companies, and now it's all
Yeah.
just movies mostly.
Yeah.
That's popular. But I think that DC does better in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you ever read comics, I think the DC, they have a lot more interesting storylines.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that I think Marvel makes way better movies. And I don't think it's just because of the popularity, just because they're popular. We get the Avengers and all that stuff. I think that their characters are just more balanced.
It's more entertaining, like the Guardians movies.
Oh my goodness,
those are so good.
Chris Pratt is so funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The third one was a little strange, but the first two, choice.
Oh yeah, solid.
That's probably my favorite Marvel series. But one thing that makes Marvel stand out above the rest is that they actually have the most popular superhero character as far as like grossing numbers, like of sales between movies, merchandise. Spider-Man, far and away.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you had to put like a number 2, Batman, he's pretty far behind him, but Batman would be below him, and then below him I think is Superman. And then after the top 3, it just kind of drops off, and as far as popularity goes. But Spider-Man is just, take a look at the numbers sometime. The amount of money that they generate from Spider-Man is. Why do you think that Sony and Disney or whoever else fought over Spider-Man rights for so long?
That's true.
Poor Andrew Garfield, caught in the whole mix of that.
Dude, he was like one of my favorites too, actually.
That brings us to another question. Who's the best Spider-Man? Now, this is tough because I have different answers. For me, Tobey Maguire will always be like the OG Spider-Man.
That's kind of who I was leaning towards, but
I think that he really, I mean, for the time, like he really created that character.
Mm-hmm.
He made that character really come to life.
Yeah.
Which I know there's been other Spider-Man stuff, before him, but he's the one that really, really helped kickstart the franchise into what it is now.
Yeah.
And I think that looking back on the movies now, some of the stuff is a little cringe, but at the time it was like, there's still a lot of cool things about those 3 movies.
Oh yeah.
But I think Now, my other answer is Tom Holland because I think that he's the better Peter Parker. Does that make sense? Tobey Maguire's better Spider-Man, but Tom Holland is the better Peter Parker.
That makes sense.
I think he fits the role better of like the wiry high school kid.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Overall, I'm taking Tobey.
Yeah.
I got to take Tobey, but I will say that I think Tom Holland has the edge on playing Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever thought about that before.
I hadn't really thought about it until you said that, but it makes sense. Cause
Andrew Garfield did great. He did so good in so many ways.
He's such a likable guy.
He's just caught in between two juggernauts.
Yeah.
And I hope they do make more Amazing Spider-Mans. Yeah. I hope they do. Like, I hope they continue the storyline.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they will, but I guess we'll have to wait and see about that one. Time shall tell. But and these are really controversial topics when it comes to the world of the nerd.
I guarantee it.
But if you disagree with me, that's fine. You can be wrong. You're more than welcome to be wrong. I have no quarrel.
Yeah.
But let's sort of transition into what we're really here to talk about today. And that is asking the question, why are there so many denominations, speaking of Christianity? So when we begin to break this down, we have to think of what the term denomination means. It just means what you are called by, or stating what you are called by. So that's why you have like the different, like the names of places are different.
So many.
And just starting out, I do kind of want to address the question itself, just why, like answering the question why. And there's many answers, but there's a few that sort of rise to the top. One is tradition. One is tradition. And when I say tradition, I mean things like I mentioned a few episodes ago. This is the way we do it because we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
And that's
so true.
And that's the reason why. Now, that's why you have branches that sort of grow. And then a lot of times when they get too big, someone gets a different idea, says they want to go do something else. So the other answer besides tradition is spite, disdain, hatred. You may not look across the street. You may live in a town where you have 5 churches on the same street. It's not like you just glare at each other all the time.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, like for example, growing up, the church or the denomination that I was once a part of, I didn't know until years and years that had gone by that there was a church that was actually closer to me that existed as a split off from that place.
Oh, wow.
And because it was a Baptist church that I had gone to, and the other place that split off didn't even keep the name Baptist side. Now, I'm not going to go into why they split or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was because of no desire for reconciliation. And that's not just for them, that's for how all these things. If I asked you how many denominations in Christianity, which, okay, this number is almost an impossible number to reach exactly, because someone can one day decide, we're going to be called this now and start something. So and this is across the world. So, and it's, the number's growing. So it's pretty impossible to pinpoint because there's no hard data on this. But if I asked you, how many denominations in the world do you think there are? Just how many do you think?
20.
There's a few more than 20. That's awesome.
But why?
So
That's
whenever
terrible.
before I did research on this, I kind of took a guess, like myself, just because I was curious. I'm betting there's at least maybe like 2,000, because that's like a lot of different groups to be. You know how many there actually are?
No, because I totally have no idea.
Global estimates are north, meaning more than 45,000.
What?
45,000.
That's insane.
Isn't that wild?
Why?
And it kind of begs the question, just from the human perspective of how can these people all claim to follow the same, how can all these people follow the same God or believe in Christ, but yet 45,000 different groups exist that cannot reconcile to each other? That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a crazy number.
45,000 different ways.
And you can break it down further than that. So, the charismatic movement. So you have like Pentecostal holiness, and you have some denominations that derive from the charismatic movement, but that identify with being in that subgenre, charismatic.
Yeah.
In that alone, you have about 20,000 that identify to be within the charismatic. And, we say that because there are a lot of Pentecostal around where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And where I grew up, it was more so Baptist. There's a lot of Baptists. So I did a little bit of research on that as well. In the United States, now keep in mind, I tried to look at U.S. numbers and global numbers and compare. In the United States, there's about 70 different Baptist denominations. 70.
Different
That's a sub-denomination of a denomination. So you don't just have you may have like a lot of places say like, so-and-so Baptist church, but you see like Free Will Baptist, Freedom Baptist, whatever.
Yeah.
All for nomenclature reasons. Typically there's a reason why they have a certain name, like Free Will don't ascribe to maybe certain points of the Calvinism doctrine. But, and worldwide, I know it's at 70 in the U.S. Worldwide, it's about 200. 200 sub-denominations.
That's way deeper than I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It goes pretty deep. And you think, how can we really be so different on...
Yeah.
Or how can we be so serious about... And it's not just, it's not just about believing in the same God or being all, the one thing you share in common, at least, is that you claim to follow Christ. Mm-hmm. And by the way, this is not including Jehovah's Witness, Mormons. So this is more so Protestant, which talked a little bit about Protestant. If you claim to be a Protestant, typically means if whatever you ascribe to is considered Protestant, it means it's a break off from the Catholic Church, as far as being part of the Reformation movement. So that's what I mean whenever I say Protestant. That's kind of what those numbers reflect. They also reflect others outside of the Reformation. So you have the Restoration movement that it considers as well. And it's pretty insane. Yeah. And when you think about what the Bible says about division, and how, like in John 17, Jesus speaking, he's praying for his followers, and he's speaking in the presence of his disciples, and he says that he wishes that we would be one as him and the Father are one. So one of his parting gestures, parting statements, whatever you want to call it, it seems belittling to call it advice, because it's not advice; it's a command.
Command, yeah.
It goes beyond. It's not a guidebook. It's not a how-to. It's
Yeah.
this is what you need to do. But one of the last things that he imparts is that he wishes that we would be one, or that he hopes that we would be one as him and the Father are.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, here we are 2,000 years later, and even in the lives of the disciples or the apostles, you still had, the church had just began, and you already had different groups. You had Docetism, you had Gnosticism, all these different groups that were beginning to have different ideas of what it meant, like of what Christianity was.
Starting.
Yeah, it was already starting, and Paul, he writes to combat a lot of things. Peter writes,
Trying to shut that down.
yeah, they're trying to reassure them of the truth of the gospel, the truth of Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
while they're and it's important that they try to shut that down because if you've done any research in history, the Gnostics, they were prevalent mainly around the 1st, 2nd centuries, but by the 6th century, they were pretty much all gone.
Mm.
So you had a certain sect that got put down pretty. 600 years doesn't seem like a short amount of time, but there's things that last a lot longer.
Yeah, 600 years flies by.
600 years flies by. Remember it like it was yesterday. And you have this idea of reconciliation that Jesus is not only trying to deliver to those that are trying to follow him,
Mm-hmm.
or that say they want to follow him, but also the ones that he sent. That's what apostle means, one that's sent.
Mm-hmm.
Apostles of Christ who are writing to these churches, writing to these different places, trying to help them reconcile differences, all these things. If you read the book of Romans is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But he's addressing a really big problem, and it took him quite a few chapters to get the message across, because you had two groups of people that just could not, like, if you had like a Jew that was eating like some food and the shadow of a Gentile would pass over it, they would consider it unclean.
Man,
Like it was petty.
Yeah,
It was petty
really
what they were doing. And the Gentiles weren't much better,
Yeah,
but for different reasons. The Jews just would see them as like dirty, unclean, because they're God's chosen people, right? And Gentiles are like, you all killed Jesus, we didn't. So, so Paul writes to them saying that, because one of the prevailing themes from Romans is fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, we see that what Paul's trying to get across is that, we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
We're dead in our sin, and now through Christ being risen with him, or being buried with him in baptism, being called to walk in a newness of life. Like this is what it means, is that we have one another. We are a body. We are one body, and the body has one head, and that's Christ. And it seems like I'm trying to oversimplify this, because I'm like, guys, it's so easy. Just read the Bible.
Yeah.
But humans just cannot get over the petty stuff. They just can't. I can't tell you how many people I've tried to talk to about things that they claim or teach, or maybe just have learned, and I'll show them something in Scripture and they'll just be like, nah. And they just kind of shut down. They're like, well, I'm already this far.
Stick with that traditionalism.
It is. It's just tradition. That's what it is. And this is going to be kind of the second episode where I'm really trying to hit at that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you, there are probably people that you have the utmost respect for in life that have been like your teachers or your preachers, ministers, whatever you call them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear someone say something different, your immediate thought is that I'm attacking that person. I'm attacking that person's integrity.
Yeah.
You have to, that stuff is what causes splits.
Mm-hmm.
That's what causes hate. That's what causes disdain. So instead of being petty about it, instead of, just wanting to square up with somebody, how about we actually look at Scripture and pray about it and try to come to a reasonable understanding through context, through whatever means necessary to try to figure out the truth, because at the end of the day, there is one way, one truth, one life, and that's through Christ Jesus.
Yeah.
It's exclusive. It is. I think that the term unconditional gets thrown around a lot, like the unconditional love of God. Like, okay, God does love us unconditionally. We are His. We're the creation.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, which I do want to do an episode on this later, but you think, a loving God wouldn't send somebody to hell for eternity. But it's that statement doesn't make any sense, because the loving God desires you, and the loving God gave you the easiest way to Him, and you chose to serve yourself instead of Him. So you think of hell as just being in torment and being all these bad things, all these things, the way that the Bible describes it, weeping, gnashing of teeth, darkness, fire, all these things. What you don't think of is it removes you from the presence of God. That's what it does.
Yeah.
And if in your life you desire to be away from the presence of God, He's giving you exactly what you wanted. He's not going to force you into His presence, right? Mm-hmm. So you think heaven is being with God for eternity, being with God's people for eternity. When I say God's people, I mean the church, I mean the kingdom.
Yeah.
And versus the opposite. Now, that's kind of an extreme of all this, just talking about the denominationalism. But it's something that needs to be addressed.
It really does.
Like, have you experienced a lot of kind of what I was talking about with, trying to talk to somebody or trying to reason with somebody, and they're just not having it?
Yeah, several times actually. And it's hard, because it could be, I've had coworkers, people, that I'm like around all the time. They if it contradicts what they believe, they just don't want to hear it, and it gets to the point to where it can almost get heated, But we're not trying to make you mad, like man, I'm just read what it says. Like, I'm pretty dumb, but I'm I'm capable of reading things.
That's a great defense. I'm an idiot, and I understand this.
And I understand it. What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Something wrong with you. Like, come on. He says one way, not 40,000 different ways. Like, shouldn't that say something?
Yeah.
I just thought there was 20, but no. I thought 20 was too many.
Well, if you were maybe thinking of, whenever you said that, if you were maybe thinking of just like the one big name.
Yeah,
like if you're just
I
thinking
didn't.
like
I didn't think
just
about going
Baptist
down the
or-
branches.
Yeah, there's I mean
And like, dude,
branches and branches.
you're gonna be hitting a lot of branches on some of them. Like you're never gonna reach the bottom. Like that's crazy. I had no idea it was that deep.
Yeah, it's there's so many. And if you're someone that's sort of outside, we kind of talked about this a little bit before, but if you're someone that's outside of the bubble
Yeah.
and looking into it, I mean, you see all these different, basically choices is what it is. It's choices.
Really?
You know,
Yeah.
what flavor of Christianity do I want?
Yeah.
And
Chocolate.
sad chocolate, Neapolitan. I want cookie dough Christianity.
Butterscotch.
Butterscotch. But that's really what it is. It's become an advertisement.
Yeah.
It's become a which place has the better music, which place has the better daycare, which place has the best speaker.
Feel good church.
And at the very so like people develop this checklist
Yeah.
of like, you know, I need it to have this, which is why you have like a lot of these mega churches that typically when you go up a number, and I'm not saying this is definitive with every church that grows. I'm not saying that at all. But a lot of times what you have is these places that get really big really fast is because the numbers go up and the gospel goes down.
Oh yeah.
Gospel gets watered down. It's only the feel good stuff.
Feel good.
None of the uncomfortable stuff. And what you end up with is you end up with a social club of people that are super wishy-washy about
Yeah.
you know, cursing, drinking, all these things that you would think that a Christian would be against. But
But they'll be out here doing
yeah,
it.
they'll be out there doing it in the world, and they're like, "Oh, Jesus forgives," you know, and or God forgives. And should we continue in sin that grace may abound? I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and it's sad when you think about the church in Laodicea, which I feel like they get picked on more than any of the 7 churches. I feel like they get brought up more than anybody, but they deserve it.
If you're gonna do it right.
We're gonna do it. They're known as the compromised church or the lukewarm church, and the letter that God writes to them is that, you know, you are neither hot nor cold, and I'll spit you out of my mouth. The word is actually vomit. Some translations will say spit.
That's scary.
It's vomit. He says, I will vomit you out of my mouth. Because, you know, it's like, oh, you know, we could do it the right way or we could do it this way. And that's what we have. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's no numbers on this kind of stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if you told me by some way, if you were able to actually get all the numbers, or just like, no, you were like, well, about 75% of churches would be described as lukewarm or worse.
Ooh.
I'd buy it. I'd say, yep, that sounds about right. But the result that you have from that is people don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's not life or death. It ends up not being, you know, the focus in your life. You neglect all of your spiritual disciplines besides maybe reading like a daily devotional or something, or praying before you eat. If those are the only things that you're getting out of your day from your Christianity, something's wrong, you know.
You're doing it wrong.
But you have all these people that can't agree, and the ones that end up being the most popular out of all these branches are the ones that are probably have the worst teachings. And like I said, I'm not trying to overgeneralize. I'm just saying a lot of times what I've seen, this is what happens. So we have to constantly be giving the litmus test to, okay, I really like, you know, the way this guy talks, or I really like the way that
Yeah.
for whatever reason you decide to go somewhere
Yeah,
and
check all the boxes.
check all the boxes. The biblical accuracy should be pretty not only at the top of your list, it should be the only thing on your list.
That should be the only box.
But a lot of people, it's like it's the part of the list at the bottom that catches dust. They got to wipe off, see it's still there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all right. They use the King James Bible. I like that.
Yeah. We're good.
We're good. And I think that I truly believe that it's Satan's greatest trick.
Yeah, that's very true.
I do, is convincing a bunch of people that they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because Satan can't get to God.
Mm-mm.
But what's the next best thing that he can get to?
Mm-hmm.
You and me.
Yep.
We're the next best thing. And he knows that he loves us, so he's going to go after us.
But it's true.
And if that doesn't, or if that does scare you, it probably should, because, when people, like when Jesus turns around to all these people, he gathered this massive following from not only the feeding of the 5,000, which we know it was probably more than 5,000, but at any point in his ministry, he would gain this massive amount of followers, and then he would say something that would make them all leave. He would say, unless you hate your mother, hate your father, your brother, your sister, you cannot be my disciple. Like, whoa, like my sister's kind of annoying, but I mean, but he's not saying you have to actually like hate them. He's saying that the love that you have for me, the desire you have for me in comparison, you should love them so much less.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, think about how many things distract us from Christ.
Yeah,
I can't go to church because kids got a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I think you all have a good thing going here, but parents don't like it here, so I got to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it really is making everything else a priority before God, before His Word, before His Son.
Yeah,
that bled and died on the cross for us. It really, if you want to start, you think, man, 45,000. We've gone so far down the rabbit hole in this whole denomination business.
Mm-hmm.
What could we even do to turn it back? Stick to the Bible. I mean, there's
a start.
And you think, oh, well, it's all about your interpretation. The Bible literally says that it's not for any man's interpretation. Like, these things are written so that you may understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and don't get me wrong, some people manipulate, some people
cherry pick verses.
Take things out of context. I get that. And it's really hard when you have all these opinions to sift through the mess and get to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Huge reason why I even wanted to start doing this in the first place was
Yeah.
because I want people to have access to good resource, to good information.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to get rid of the denominationalism, if you want to get rid of that, I'm not saying you're going to be able to tackle all of them. That's pretty much a beast. It's just never going to come down. But if you want to get out of the mindset of that, you have to decide that you're going to put Christ first.
Yeah.
You have to say, I'm going to put Christ first. I believe that Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. I believe that this is His Word, that the Word was God, the Word was with God, the Word was God, and that I'm going to trust His Word, that He is preserved over time so that I may come to a place of understanding that leads to my salvation. Because it's clear as day.
Yeah.
You can read through the gospel message and the book of Acts, first 5 books in the New Testament. You could probably get through them in about maybe an hour or two, if you're just reading it. If you're just reading it by yourself,
Probably.
it may take a little longer. I may have just said that out of ignorance. Maybe about 3 or 4 hours. I've never timed myself, but they're
really
not. They're
study.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to really study, and they're not huge books.
Mm-mm.
Considering things like, have like Psalms and Isaiah. You have like your larger books. Like it doesn't take you long to get through those, but even then, you don't have to read all the Gospels, and you don't have to read all like the whole Bible to be able to finally be like, okay, I've made my decision. Like you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's about coming to a place of understanding that you recognize the sinful state that you're in, and that there's nothing that you could do to pay that debt, but that Christ did it for you. And he's saying, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest for your soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's like light bulb.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy is actually the one worth following, And it doesn't even take 4 or 5 hours to come to that understanding. I understand it's a lot of deliberation, but it's having self-awareness is what it is.
True.
And that applies to your eternal security. It applies to when you look at these things like all these different beliefs that people have about the Bible and whatever it is. Like if someone were to ask me, what is my biggest like reason why I'm a Christian? I'm not talking about, oh, Jesus. Like, that's
Sunday school answer.
the Sunday school answer. But go a little deeper than that. For me, when I think of like my biggest, like one of the biggest rocks for me in my understanding is seeing a book that's a compilation of 66 books written by so many authors. I think it's, I didn't look at it before this, written by 40 different authors over the course of thousands of years that do not contradict and that all point to one thing. And if you ever follow the story of the Bible and you can understand what was lost from the very beginning to what we gain in Christ, it is, unless you had 40 geniuses that just so happen to exist with all the same thoughts and feelings and all this stuff over the course of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Unless you had these geniuses that were able to do this, then I don't know what other reasoning you could have besides its inspiration. That for me, and I try to appeal to, I'm just like, that's the way my brain is wired. Like I appeal to logic. That to me is like, it blows my mind.
Oh yeah.
That it's so ironclad, the inerrancy of it. And that's why my answer to the question of why are there so many different denominations is saying it's tradition. It's because people don't like each other, or because someone so many 10, 15, 100, 200, 1,000 years ago didn't like each other and decided they were going to do it their own way. And bada bing, now we're here.
Yeah.
And now we're just looking at look at this mess that we've made.
It just keeps getting deeper.
Yeah, it's gonna go up. And and if you look at Numbers 2, because right at probably 50%, if you include Catholicism in Christianity, as far as like the numbers, they're about 50%. It's like 50.1, but they're about half. Not that long ago, they were probably closer to 60, and probably I think I've seen estimates that probably by the year 2050, it's going to be close to the numbers between just Protestant, which means Reformation, people that identify with the Reformation, versus Catholicism are going to be the same. Reformist, Protestant, comes at around 30-something% right now, of 30% of the 50% left over from Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
50 Catholic, 50 non. Protestant holds about 30-something. It's going to probably grow to around, or Catholics are going to shrink, and they're going to grow to where they're about the same probably by the year 2050.
Wow.
Which means that you're probably going to have a lot more denominations.
Yep.
Because it's what we do. We just like to divide, and we can't agree on anything. Even though we read the same Bible, and it's discouraging to look at the numbers like that. I'm not gonna lie. I looked at it and I was like, man, this is kind of sad.
It really is.
But my confidence isn't in people.
Nah.
My confidence is in God and His Word. And if I don't have a good conscience about something, then if I can't address it, if I can't correct it, then ultimately one day I'm going to have to answer for it.
Yeah.
And we all have to you have to consider that if you have something that's a burden on your conscience about if that's something that just weighs on you, and you just or whatever it is, and you just keep shoving it down. Like, I'm just not going to think about it. Ignorance is bliss. I'm just going to press it down.
Yeah.
The only thing you're doing is you're hurting yourself. I mean, you really are. But you're going to have to answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be able to give a defense for the hope that lies within us. And we're going to have to give an answer for all these things. And hopefully your best answer isn't, well, we always did it that way.
Well, that's not how I was taught.
I didn't. You gotta, and
Why didn't somebody tell me?
On the flip side of that, what's scary and why for a little while I was scared about being a teacher is that Scripture says that teachers will be held to a stricter account.
Yeah.
Teachers will be held to a stricter standard, because you're the one that's imparting or giving knowledge from God's Word to all these people to help them understand. If you give them bad stuff, really, especially if it's really bad stuff, you have to answer for all these people.
That's why I'm not teaching.
Brian said, "Nuh-uh.
I'm not teaching.
Meditation? No, thank you." That's why you just talk about yourself?
Yeah. Don't be that guy.
Don't be me, guys. I'm awful. And
That's so true, though.
But even so, no one. It seems like a lot of people don't take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I remember confronting someone that was a great teacher to me for my entire life, and the only response that I got was just insults.
That had to hurt, dude.
Personal insults. Refused to answer any of my questions, anything like that. I'm like, this is what the Bible says. Like, what are you trying to tell me? Just wouldn't answer anything.
Yeah.
And then tried to tell me that I believe something else that I don't believe. And I'm like, no, I don't.
I'm sure that's tough for you, man.
It was at the time, but it was also like strangely comforting. Because in my mind, it had weighed on me for so long that I'm like, okay, because you want to think, like, let's say you do realize you're like, oh man, I don't believe that. You were able to get past the fact that this person had been teaching you forever, and you're like, well, maybe they haven't considered it. Maybe I'll just talk to them.
Yeah. And
that weighed on me forever, and I went and talked to him, and it just went horribly. And I know that I was like 20 years old, 19, 20 at the time, but I wasn't rude. I was trying to be as respectful as possible, but it didn't matter. It did not matter. And that was hard, seeing somebody that I'd known for the longest time like that. And it was unfortunate the way that it went. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I still desire for them to be reconciled.
You did the right thing.
I want them to be reconciled. I want them to come to the right conclusion. I want that for everybody.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, don't put your stock in the place that has the most smoke machines.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
They got nice concerts.
It's great. I've seen like videos of, like these churches where they have like Santa Claus like flipping through the air and like a sleigh.
Wow.
Like they have like trapeze artists and stuff. I'm like, can you imagine if Paul saw something like that? Oh my goodness, he'd be cutting those lines.
Be writing a letter.
You'd be getting the letter.
Oh.
But I think it's about all the time we have. I'm done with my rant. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap it up here?
Nah, I'm just kind of blown away that it went that deep with that many different denominations. I mean, that's wild, but nah, I just appreciate what you're doing here, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not trying to be, say the most popular things, trying to tickle ears here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to open eyes a little bit,
telling the truth.
because I'm sort of trying to operate on the understanding that maybe you've never heard someone go over this stuff before, and that you're like, wow, like that is concerning.
If one person kind of batted their eye, like wow, like
I kind of was like that when I figured it out. Like I knew that there were a bunch. I didn't know there were that many.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy what Satan can do. It's crazy
for sure.
the division that he can cause and
confusion.
Confusion, the darkening of understanding, all these things. But that's going to be it for our A Bigger Brain a Time. And before we get off here today, I did want to mention that I did make a Facebook post that we're going to be doing a giveaway.
Nice.
Do a giveaway, and if you want to, I thought about just saying, talking about it more on here, but I'll just post it. That way, it's easier for people to maybe just see it in passing.
Cool.
And be able to maybe get a chance to get some goodies.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm excited about it. And another thing, we got Winter Workshop coming up, which last year was my first time going to Winter Workshop, and it was
your first?
Yeah, last year was.
Oh wow, it's great.
I think it was the time of year, and where it's like through the middle of the week, it was always really hard for me.
It's hard
because you have to take off work if you're someone that works.
Yeah.
But I went. I was like, okay, fine. I'll use some of my extra time to go down, and it was. I had a great time.
Awesome.
It was awesome. I loved it, and I'm excited for it this year. I think it's second week or maybe third week of February.
I think so.
I think it's begins around the 12th, maybe the 12th through the 14th. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I'm excited for it. Are you going this year?
I'll try to. I'm like you. I hardly ever get to go, but I had been a few times, and yeah, it's always like top notch. Like it's really good speakers.
Because last year it happened during the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah.
So we got to go up to someone's room and watch the Super Bowl and eat pizza.
Yeah.
Get all fat and American.
That's how we do it.
That's how we do it here, America. Speaking of, and I know a couple Steelers fans, and it feels so good. Did you see the score?
No.
Oh, dude, they got beat. They got walked.
Really?
They played the Texans. I was like, man, I just really hope the Steelers don't win this game. They got beat 30-6. They got walked.
Dude.
Oh man, as a Browns fan, I was so happy. But on top of that, their head coach, after 19 seasons, stepped down today. He stepped down today.
Man,
he had a winning season for 19 years though. He was. I dislike everything about the organization, but I will say he's a good coach.
Yeah.
And he's stepping down. So,
dude, that's huge.
Hey, 19 seasons winning coach steps down. I'm not going to complain. I got to play him twice a year.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was good news. Watching the demise of a rival.
Nice.
Always feels great.
Oh yeah.
But that's probably going to be it for this episode. if I could give my recommendation for resource just before we sign off here, I don't have my copy with me, but it's a big book. But it's the Acts commentary by Gareth Reese. It's I'm not entirely sure I would recommend some because he does some other books. I'm not sure I would, but his Acts, like the Book of Acts commentary, it's pretty choice. It's pretty good.
Nice.
So that is one that I would recommend before we sign off here today. But if there is nothing else, then I really do appreciate everyone who's watching, listening. Yeah. If you're watching, you got a treat today because you get to see our new setup, which is exciting. Yeah. I got curtains up, and I got a little shelf right here, and not too shabby.
It's nice, buddy.
It was a good upgrade all the way around. Sounds better, hopefully, too. As long as everything goes according to plan. But yep, that's going to be it for this episode on why are there so many denominations from the Be That Christian podcast. Appreciate you all tuning in, and until next time, just try to be that Christian. Thank you, guys.